This is Robbie Illuminati, the motherfucking op killer, and your eyes, ears, mind, body, and soul are checking out the 3 Count Podcast.
When in it, an unbelievable weight that you might hate, but you can't even
Dang, high pass, where'd you find that drag ball at?
Now entering the ring, married to
Welcome
the
everybody
business
to
hunter.
another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring. I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller. That's right, I'm the man who leads you on this mountain climb to the top, to the summit of this peak called wrestling. But you can also call me your Sherpa. But like always, it is not about me. It's about who's entering the ring. And today, this man can be found at UWC. You can find this man at GTS. You can find this man at Standalone or even part of Boardwalk Buds. This is the man himself. Give it up to the hybrid, the man, the myth, the legend, Tony Chini.
That's me. What's going on? How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Thank you for coming on the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. I just wanted to talk and schedule some podcasts, and I'm glad that you reached out, man.
Me too, because I was like, I saw the post and I got tagged in it. I was like, of course. I was like, and then a mutual friend of ours, Danger Hawk was like, hey, you should do this too. And I was like, yeah, you're damn right we should.
Oh yeah, man. I'm glad that he said something. He's a good dude. I like the Danger Hawk.
Yeah.
If you guys are subscribed to IWTV, actually, Invictus is going to be putting out their last show that they just had, probably pretty soon, and you could actually see me and the Danger Hawk in the ring against each other.
Hey, let's go. No spoilers. So
No spoilers.
Let's start this off, man. Who is Tony Chini?
Man, who is Tony Chini? That's a good question. If you want to put it this way, Tony Chini was formerly known as the delivery boy. When I first started, I was a pizza delivery boy. I came out with a pizza box and always had nothing but pizza. I mean, anything but pizza in there. Sometimes there's a hole in the bottom of the box, come up and smacks people's face, or sometimes I'd have a menu in there and whatever it was, you know what I mean? It started out silly, but then I wanted to start getting a little bit more serious and show my, in addition to, the fact that I can be funny at times. But I wanted to get a little bit more serious, and I became what I call Il Capo Grande, which means the big boss in Italian. So I lead the mob squad in the Royal Familia, and me and Francesca, who's always by my side, we lead things and we make things go smoothly for the mob squad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I understand, man. I've seen. So we were just talking a little bit beforehand about some, and we've crossed paths, but we've never actually crossed paths like together at the same time. So it's so crazy, man, to think about like how small like the wrestling world is.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the people that you see on the way up, you see on the way down, and it's crazy, man. I mean, you think that you're like, oh, I'll probably never see this guy again, and then all of a sudden you drive 15 hours away and there's that guy.
Yeah, it's true. But all right, let me ask, man, like what brought you into the sport?
Man, in 2004, in the very beginning of 2004, I started watching wrestling, and Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and all those guys really got me into it and roped me in. And when I actually wanted to become a wrestler, it was funny because as a kid, I didn't really know about wrestling school or anything like that. I kind of just thought that kind of wrestlers were like handpicked, or like they had to know like another wrestler and get trained by them. And like, that was like the deal. So I never really knew if I had a chance or not, because I didn't know any wrestlers growing up or anything like that. But when I think I was at the time 19 years old or 18 years old, I was setting up for my ex-girlfriend's grandpa's birthday party at the Moose Lodge where I used to live. And over in the other room, they were doing karaoke. So I'm like, hey, I like karaoke. Let me go check that out. So I signed up for a song. I'm waiting to do my song, and I look up at the guy singing, and this is big dude, and he looks familiar, but I just can't put my name, like I can't put the name on it, but he looks familiar. I'm like, maybe he's a wrestler, but the odds are he's not. This is some random Moose Lodge out here. This guy's not anybody I know. All of a sudden, he comes walking over to me, and I have this Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt on. And he says, "Hey, I wrestled that guy." And he walks away. And I'm just like, who is this? So in the distance, I hear somebody talking, and I hear them say 911. And for those of you who aren't familiar, 911 is the innovator of the chokeslam from ECW. It was Paul Heyman's Beast, Paul Heyman's Monster. Security for Sabu. All that a while, and information. I met up with him a week later, signed something for me, but not at the other bar. We would do Thursday. We kept him a week. We talked, and eventually he pulls me over and he says, "Hey, I'm opening up a wrestling school, and I'd really like you to come in because I know that you want it." And it was kind of like that moment where, as a kid, I always thought that you had to meet a wrestler. That was the way you did it, and then that wasn't the way you did it, but that was the way I did it. So it was kind of cool.
That is wild. But you're right, man. It's like even like me, like growing up, like that's how I always thought too, was that you're supposed to know somebody in the business, or like you get found, right? And then that's how you get picked up. And I lived, to be real, man, when I tell people I lived in the middle of Nebraska, I was like, nobody's coming here. Like I have to get to I either have to get to the eastern part of Nebraska, or I have to get out of where I'm at, period. And like, and that's what ended up happening. Like I got out of, I joined the military, I got out, and then I moved around from there, and then I just landed in Maryland. And next thing you know, like here I am, like, doing this podcast, asking people for advice. But yeah, it was like I guess, quote unquote, got found because I was just doing something. I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, and they're like, yeah, we need to get you somewhere else. So I was like, oh, cool. But yeah, man, it's crazy because, like you said, like you were doing karaoke, and then they're like, hey, we're starting up a school, you're coming too.
Yeah, man, it was really, really surreal, and like it was cool because at the time I wasn't making a lot of money, and I mean, I'm not telling you I'm making a lot of money now, but at the time I really wasn't making any money, and I still really wanted to train. And I told him, I said, "Listen, man, like I'm not making a lot of money, but like I know that you're just opening the school. I can help you promote it. I can help you make videos, pamphlets, whatever you need. Like I'm there. Take pictures, whatever you need." And that's what I did. I went to the school. I helped them, do whatever they needed, and I helped them make pamphlets, and I tried helping them make a video. I recorded one of their shows and took pictures and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I did whatever I could, and it was a great school, and it was only open for a year, unfortunately. But Big Vin, who was just on the recent GCW Backyard show, that's 911's son. He was like the head trainer of the school. And he had the school set up perfectly where like the school like was half a gym and then half a wrestling school. So you walk in, there's like this little office space. You go to the left, you're in a full gym. You go to the right, you're in the full wrestling school. And it was perfect. I mean, you're there for a year. I got the training. And then when it closed, I was kind of stagnant for a while, and I didn't know what to do with my training. So eventually I decided, I have a little bit of training, and like I said, I don't have the money to go further my training right now, but let me build a character. So that's where the delivery boy came in. Me and a friend of mine who also had a little bit of training. He never ended up pursuing. He's not a wrestler now, but at the time he wanted to be still. Anyway, he, made his own character. I made my character, and we kind of just started making videos with each other, just made a little feud. And somebody from GTS, Dalton, who we mentioned before the podcast, reached out to me, and actually he wanted to know what my show was. And I told him, honestly, our show is just me and a friend just goofing around, not doing anything. And I see that you're on GTS. And I told him, I said, I have a little bit of training, and I'd really like to get some experience. So can I come with you? And he said, well, I actually need a ride on Monday. So lo and behold, I actually ended up living like 5 minutes from him at the time. And I ended up just being his ride that day. And I went, I didn't expect to be, wrestling in a match or anything like that. I expected to maybe just like kind of show him what I knew, and maybe he'd invite me back next time if I was lucky, or maybe I could be a referee or something like that. But I showed him what I knew, and I showed him my character, the delivery boy character, and he ended up being shorthanded that day, he being Grim. And Grim ended up putting me in a match against him for the Intercontinental Championship in my first match ever.
Dang, that's crazy. That's awesome though. Hi Grim, by the way. We've had Grim on the show as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's funny because you mentioned GTS, man, because so I can be honest with you too. Like I was on GTS. I was actually the referee in Maryland when Grim came down to face James Ellsworth. I was the ref.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Full disclosure to kill kayfabe 100% because it is. My daughter actually played James Ellsworth's daughter.
That's funny.
So yeah, I was there. I just happened to be. I was at Nick's place, at Sicken's place that day, and yeah, it would just happen, and I was like, oh, cool. So they threw me a ref shirt and was like, hey, be a ref for these matches. I was like, okay, whatever. And
hey man, but the fact that you're there and you're willing to do that, that's the thing. Like that's what's going to get you far in this business. Like let me tell you a little story real quick. I'll make it short. There's this company that I've worked for called We Want Wrestling, and you can see all their content on YouTube if you look up We Want Wrestling. And basically, we haven't made any new content as of recent because we're trying to find a new location to film because we do tapings. Because it was during COVID. Joe Gacy, who just debuted on NXT, he ended up making the We Want Wrestling just to kind of have some people who were around during COVID not doing anything, just to be able to have a place to wrestle. So we started doing filming, and I went there one day, and he's trying to kind of scramble around to find me a match. Joe Gacy, he's like, oh, I don't really know, man. Like we already did everything. We already scheduled everything. I said, do you need a referee? He was like, do you mind? Like, he was like, I know you're a wrestler. He was like, do you mind? I said, dude, absolutely. Like, let's do this. I'll ref. So I refed 8 matches that day, straight. And the next time I went, I ended up wrestling. And the cool thing about that, though, is that I was willing to be the referee that day. And I was willing to be the referee any day I went because I just wanted to be in the ring. Long story short, all this time down, the last episode that you see of We Want Wrestling, I win the World Heavyweight Championship there. And that's kind of like that payoff where it's like I started there and I was like, yeah, I'll do anything you need me to do. I'll hold the camera. I'll be the referee. I'll take pictures, whatever you need me to do. It's that same premise of getting the training. I kept that attitude in a different place and I still got the result I wanted. So that's the type of attitude you want to have, man. You always want to be ready to go. And then even though we haven't filmed in a while, I just defended the We Want Wrestling Heavyweight Championship at the Boardwalk Bud Show for Standalone Wrestling on IWTV.
Yeah, that's awesome though. And you're right, man. And it's something that was preached to me numerous times, not even just by my trainer, but by numerous people who've come on the show. Hey, look at that beautiful belt though. That title though.
There it is. Yeah, no.
I love it.
We Want Wrestling.
You bring up such a great point, man, and it's something I want to harp back on. You talk about it's about doing all the things that are just needed, right? So I'm one of those guys that I'll stay after, I'll help tear down a ring, I'll put it up, I'll help tear down. I'm one of those guys that I'll sit in the back, whatever you need me to do, I'm gonna help out and get done. It was something that my trainer and even numerous people that come on this podcast have continue to harp. They're just do it. And even there was an event I was at where some things have happened and I just sat afterwards and I was the third person to start helping tearing down, even though I wasn't in the best shape. I was hurting pretty bad. I was tearing down stuff and help loading up a ring and stuff like that. And I've gone out, we talked about Invictus. And I went up to Invictus, they're in Bloomfield, New Jersey. I think that's where it was. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember where we were. But we were just, because I'm not familiar with New Jersey, actually, to be real. But I was up at one of their events, and my buddy Chaz and I, we showed up, and we just set up the ring, and we helped tear down the ring, and we said goodbye to everybody. We said hi to everybody. We helped set up the ring. We tear down the ring. We did whatever they needed us to do. We just wanted to be a part of an event. And we had so many connections because of just going in there and talking. So you're right. Like, go in, do the little things because they matter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just every little thing counts. Exactly. And it's, and those things build up and people watch that and they're going to give you that opportunity before somebody else who just showed up because you've been showing up and you've been showing out. And that's the difference. And it really does help out. Some people think, oh, well, if I'm not booked on the show, why would I go? Well, it's because that's how you get booked on the show. You go, you show up, you show your face, and then they know who you are. And then they're like, okay, this guy works hard outside of the ring. Let's see how he works inside of the ring.
Right. Facts. So speaking of getting worked hard, I'm very curious, man. What's been one of the worst bumps you've taken?
Oh, man. I mean, this is tough. I even just took, sometimes just regular bumps hurt. You know what I mean? Like I took a flare bump. If, for those of you listening or watching that don't know what that is, it's just when you're on the top rope or the second rope and you get taken off and flipped off onto your back. And I took that. And I mean, I still feel the pain today. That happened on Saturday and my back is stiff. But the worst one that I've taken, it was kind of, it got a little messed up. It was like a pile driver, but there were 2 ladders and then a ladder in between that was bridged. And me and the person were standing on the ladder that was bridged. And the person gave me the pile driver on top of the ladder. And as we were falling, my ankle got stuck in between 2 of the ladders and they just almost snapped it fully, but it just ended up being a sprain. And that was towards the beginning of the match. So I still had to finish it out. Luckily, it was a multi-man match. There was like a bunch of people in the ladder match. So, I was able to finish it out because everybody else was there to help it out. But, that was definitely some of the worst pain that I've ever felt for sure.
Was that recent?
No, that was in 2018.
Okay. I was like, I feel like I saw that spot. I was like, I'm pretty sure I did. Well,
you might have. I mean, I feel like it's one of the most viewed videos on GTS, and it's like for Sucker Slam 2018, and everybody always refers to that match, like whenever they talk about like their favorite Sucker Slam moments or matches, and that's humbling for me because that was one of my first big matches, and even though I did get injured, we still had a nice, fun, good performance, and it was good, and it wasn't his fault. It was the person who did it. It wasn't his fault that we got injured, and it's literally the pile driver went well. It was just on the way down, the ladders did it. You know what I mean? It's nobody's fault. Things happen. Like they say, it's not ballet. I got through it, and I kept wrestling. My ankle was sprained. I took about a week off, and then I wrestled. I took my boot off to wrestle, and then I put my boot back on, which probably wasn't smart, but I just love to wrestle. So
they always say that, man, is that screws got to be loose to be in this business, and there's no lie about it. There's no lie at all. Like it is. So curious, man. I need to know what's been like one of the hardest hits you've taken.
One of the hardest hits I've taken. Oh man. I always say that I like to get hit tight in the ring. I like to be able to, if somebody's hitting me, I want it to be known that they're hitting me. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody whiffing me or anything like that. I'd rather feel the connection. So, I've been hit by some big dudes, but man, I can't even, jeez. I think I've been hit too many times. I can't even think about the right answer, but I got hit pretty hard. Honestly, there was a time in training I'm thinking about right now where I was doing hip tosses and I kind of got tired towards the end of the drill, and my hip tosses were kind of lacking. And my trainer put me up on the ropes and he chopped me so hard in the chest. It just woke me up immediately, and I ran right off the ropes, and I took the biggest hip toss I ever took all day. And then I ran right back off the ropes, took another one and another one and another one, another one, to the point where he had to tell me to stop. And it just woke me up so much. And his handprint was all over my chest. That was that was a wake up blow right there, man.
Oh man. Yeah, that is No, I'm good. If it has to wake you up, like, yeah, no, I'm good, man. It's that that sting moment. You're just like, yeah, I'm going. All right, I yeah, I got smacked in the face. It's funny because like I feel like the hardest hits for me came in training. I got smacked in the face by a friend of mine because he was like, "You're not hitting me hard enough," and he just reared back, just smacked the shit out of me. And I was like, all right, I guess this is where we're going. So yeah, I can understand about getting told to turn your intensity up 100%. So let me find out, man, because it's something
Definitely, and I learned that.
Oh, go ahead. I want to hear more.
Oh no, I was just saying. I learned that day, man. I mean, it just that day. I just, like I said, towards the end, I was just losing my. I don't know what to call. I mean, I was losing my breath. I was losing my adrenaline. I was tired. The day before, we had been doing scoop slams all day, so I'd probably taken maybe 50, 60 scoop slams, and then we went over scoop slams before the hip tosses. So that's like another 20 hip scoop slams before we start doing hip tosses. So I was beat up. And just him hit me and doing that, like, I mean, he didn't hit me, like, it wasn't just to be clear, like, it wasn't like one of those, like, it wasn't serious, like, it was definitely worked, you know what I'm saying? But he woke me up and it was good, you know what I mean? It felt good. And that was also the day that I realized that I'd rather get hit like that, so I stay woke the whole time.
I mean, that's great though. Speaking of staying woke, man, and waking up, like I'm very curious, man, because I know a lot of wrestlers. It's something I've learned just recently, and I didn't realize it. But I know a lot of wrestlers who don't eat before their shows, but they usually have like a post-match meal or snack that they crave afterwards. So I'm very curious, man. What's your post-match snack or meal?
I always just like to get a nice big burger, like after a good match, like if I'm feeling a good burger, I mean a good match, like if I just had, like, I just went in there and I felt like I did good, like I want to go afterwards and just get a nice burger. That's a good thing for me. Maybe not a good thing for my health or for my look, but definitely good for my cravings.
Yeah, it may not be the most nutritious, but it's definitely in the taste-icious, and I understand that.
Absolutely.
All right, man. So I'm just very curious, though. I need to know, like, what kind of advice would you give to up and coming wrestlers?
Um, well, I mean, dress nicely, be respectful at all times to everybody, and if you don't want trouble, don't go where there's trouble, man. If you see something that is against your morals or against your values, and you don't agree with that thing that you saw, don't be afraid to say, I don't want to be there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be a part of this, because that's not the end of it. Like, I've been in a situation before where I thought, oh my gosh, if I'm not with this company, then what if I never wrestle again? That's not the case. If you have the drive and you have the determination, that's not going to be the downfall. Trust me. Just stay away from the toxicity and just add to the positivity in wrestling, because there's a lot of positivity in wrestling. And anything that I can do, whether I'm a bad guy or a good guy, to influence somebody in a positive way, that's my main goal in wrestling.
Yo, that's great. That's great advice, man. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the fact that we acknowledge that there's positivities, and there's a lot of positive in wrestling. So you just add to it. Actually, it was funny. I made a video earlier today about that where I was talking about like we don't need to belittle people, right? We don't need to be little. Like, be big. Just help support people. Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
I like that, man. I like that a lot. We don't need to be little. We need to be big. I like that a lot, dude. I'm going to keep that in my mind for sure. I want to put one of the companies that I work for over real quick. Speaking of just positivity and stuff, LTW, Lock Target Wrestling, is one of the companies I work for. I'm proudly the LTW light heavyweight champion. I had all this prepared for you. And that's the belt. It's a beautiful belt. And I just wanted to put them over because the whole locker room, like, that's one of those locker rooms that it's just a family. I mean, like, I was in a tough spot a couple months ago, and I put in that chat that I needed help, and my problem was solved within 5 minutes, and it was a big problem. So they're just all there for each other, and that's how it should be. We should all be a family. We should all be a team. You know what I mean? We're working together, and it's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, and LTW is all about teamwork. So I just wanted to put them over special in this podcast because, they have a special place in my heart, and I got to put them over.
And hey, put them over as much as you want. I don't mind. So speaking of locker rooms, and speaking that you've been all around, right? So we've talked about being in St. Louis, up and down the East Coast, talked about Indiana, Ohio. Here's the question. You're the new guy in the locker room. Give me one do and one don't of the locker room.
That's a good question. A do is to, like I said, dress nicely and be respectful. If you go there and you look presentable and you don't want to be overbearing with people, especially like when there's legends or vets in the locker room. They want to talk to you for the most part, but they don't want everybody just crouching up on them, asking them the same questions. Like, maybe like if somebody's going to be there, you might want to even think of like a unique question to ask them ahead of time, to kind of, to spark up a conversation and just make it normal, because they're a normal person. And sometimes people lose sight of that. We're normal people, legends like, I'm just naming a few that I've been in locker rooms with that I've talked to: Tony Atlas, Honky Tonk Man, Jimmy Hart, Ricky Steamboat, Ricky Morton. And like people like that are good people that pick their brains and just have a nice conversation, and they're willing to do it. You just have to catch them at the right time. But a don't is, like I said, you don't want to overbear them, and you don't want to jump on everybody, and especially if you're brand new somewhere, don't come in saying, oh, we should do this, or I should do this, or I should be this, or whatever. See what they have for you, listen to them. And still keep in mind that you don't want somebody to totally change your character or who you are, but you can accommodate to what somebody wants from you, especially when somebody's hiring you for a job.
Oh man, that's all great. That's all great advice there for the locker room. I got a story I'll share with you post air, because we can't let everything be seen. I got a fun story I'll share with you post with a legend that I ran into a while ago. So those are my heavy hitting questions. So let me get into the second best segment of the 3 Count podcast, because the first, the best segment is the Red Dogs Power Rankings that you can find every Sunday on our debate show. You can also find it on TikTok as well as IG. But the second best segment, it is a 3 Count podcast, 10 count questions. And here's how it works, Tony. I'm going to fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast. And, whatever first comes to your mind, that's going to be your answer.
All right, let's do it.
Let's put on an imaginary timer for added pressure and no significance whatsoever. Bing! And here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown.
Favorite TV show?
SmackDown.
Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
Favorite movie?
Jaws.
Oh, nice. Are you a night owl or early bird?
Night owl.
What's your favorite color?
Black.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Ooh. Favorite podcast?
How can I not say your podcast, right?
Right? It's not like it's preempted or anything. It's not like it's everywhere written around. I have no idea.
Exactly, right?
All right, nominate one person that you want to see on this show.
That's a good question. Maybe since I put them over, I would like to see Ace Marksman, the owner of LTW Wrestling. It would definitely be cool to let him put over the company on the show.
Bet. We're coming for you, Ace. Heard it here. And then last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person that comes on this show. favorite curse word?
Oof. I feel like ass is a good one.
That is a good one. You can just like throw that everywhere. And it's got so many different meanings,
There's
man.
so much that you could do with that. Sure.
So that is it for the 3 Count Podcast 10 Count questions. The only thing I need from you now, Tony, is to let our viewers and our listeners know where they can find you.
Oh, that's my favorite part, man. I mean, you can find me on the LTW YouTube channel. You can find me on the GTS YouTube channel. You could also find me at my own YouTube channel, Tony Chini. If you go on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Tony Chini 96. You can find my t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/Tony Chini. Or you can find the Fran's t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/thefran. You could also get the Fran's Fiery Habanero Hot Sauce at ltw-live.com on the hot sauce page. It's really, really good. Definitely go check it out. You could also find me at facebook.com/Tony Chini Stub Your Toe. You can pretty much find me anywhere. So go look me up. I'm really good.
Yeah, I like that. Tony Chini Stub the Toe. I like that a lot. So you guys hear it. You guys check it out. You got all of his stuff just to go look it up. So you know what to do. And this is it. This is it. This is the finale. This is what we're going to talk about. So this is it for the 3 Count Podcast. 3 Count Podcast now entering the ring. It is not about me, the Red Dog Clifford Miller, unfortunately, but it is about the man who's entering the ring right now. And his name's Tony Chini. And you guys know what to do. Tune into the next episode and be there, or you just wait till this episode ends and the next episode plays. Peace. What's going on, 3 Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dog Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there, find us at the 3count_pod, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3 Count Pod. Give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com, give a subscribe, turn the bell on, turn the notifications, leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm/the 3 Count Podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3 Count Podcast also has merchandise. At prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 Count Pod. Please go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So show us some support, please.